Hey guys, you could say whatever you want about movies this year. You can say that this year was a bad year for movies. You can say this year was a good year for movies. But in my opinion, 2013 was a good year for horror movies. I mean, I've seen a lot of horror movies I really liked this year. I've seen some good ones that were in the theater, some good ones that were just straight to DVD. Excuse me. And out of all horror movies I saw this year, there was only one that I hated, and that was The Last Exorcism Part 2. That's the only one I hated this year. Bad acting, bad CGI, bad exorcism scenes, like boring plot holes. I mean, the list goes on. So that's the only one I hated this year. All the other horror movies I saw this year I actually liked or thought was decent. And so, this is my last video of 2013, and I would like to share with you what I thought were the best horror movies of 2013. And before I start this, I just want to say this is not in any particular order. I'm not ranking these movies. However, I will say that I will say what I thought was the best horror movie of 2013. And so you'll know it when it comes on. And I would also like to say before I start this that that I know that some of these movies didn't get that much love from critics, from moviegoers. You can say whatever you want. Feel free to comment down there, which one you liked or which one you hated. You're not wrong, but I'm not wrong either. All right? This is all our opinions. Okay, so let's just get started. Okay, one I chose, this one didn't get that much love from critics, and a lot of people I know hated this movie. But personally, I actually thought it was a decent movie. I actually had fun with it. I liked it. I'm not going to say I don't see why people hate this movie, because I can see why. But it didn't stop me, though. And it's Texas Chainsaw 3D. I thought this should be on this list because I just had a fun time watching this movie. I saw this movie at a 10 p.m. show the day before it came out, and just had a fun time. I just liked how this movie picked up where the original movie from the 70s left off. Picked up right where it ended, and I also liked how they just restored all the sets from the original movie. It had cameos from Gunnar Hansen, Marilyn Burns, and John Dugan from the original movie. And after the beginning part, it skips about 20, 40 years later. And we have these new characters who I'll admit weren't really all that likable. And so this girl inherits this house and finds out that she's related to Leatherface. Leatherface kills her friends and whatnot. And I also know that people didn't like how they made Leatherface to an anti-hero in this movie. And to be honest with me, I wasn't really bothered by that. And I think that's really about it. So overall, I just had a fun time watching this movie. Had some pretty good death scenes, pretty good gore effects, pretty good 3D in my opinion. Yeah, so I liked it. The next one I chose is Frankenstein's Army. This one I liked because it's kind of like a found footage movie set during World War II. It's these Russian soldiers going after this mad doctor who's making these monsters out of dead human parts and also some mechanical parts. And I just really liked the monster designs in these movies, and one cool thing is that all these monsters had no CGI in them. They were just people in suits. Not to say that there wasn't any CGI in it. It did have CGI, but it was only used CGI when it was actually needed. And I just like these designs of these monsters too. This monster had this drill in its mouth and also drills for hands. There's also this monster had these sickles for hands, and there was also this monster that had a propeller for a head. Yeah, so it was just pretty cool movie. Pretty good movie. Pretty good acting as well. Yeah, so it was overall pretty good. And this is another one to get much love from critics, but I don't know, I actually liked it, and it's The Purge. I liked this movie because I actually thought it had a pretty good concept of having this day where all crime is legal, just one day a year. And I also liked Ethan Hawke, seeing him again in a horror movie since Sinister, which was also another good movie of last year. And I also liked these killers wearing these masks. I thought those masks were actually pretty good. And also had some, like, pretty good suspense, pretty good action as well. Like, Ethan Hawke had this pretty cool fight scene with a shotgun. I mean, I will admit also, I didn't like the ending, though. The ending was pretty anticlimactic. So, I think that's all I gotta say about this one, so I enjoyed it. Another one. This one, you could probably just say, this one's not a 2013 movie. Well, to me it is. I mean, I understand that this movie did come out basically last year in film festivals, probably also on demand as well. But I mean, it came out, like, in like my area, straight to Blu-ray in 2013. So to me, it is a 2013 movie, and it's Maniac. I did a review on this movie actually back in October, so so you can probably check out that review if you haven't checked it out already. So I actually thought this was pretty good. Like, seeing this whole movie, like, through the point of view of Elijah Wood's character, seeing him scalp these girls, pretty good opening sequence. I mean, like, it was just overall pretty cool movie. And also it was produced by produced by Alexander Aja. Oh, and written by him too, who did work on movies like High Tension, the remake of The Hills of Eyes, Piranha 3D, so I actually like him as well. And this one I saw in theaters. I mean, I actually liked this movie. My friend didn't really like it, though. And it's The Lords of Salem. This was a pretty good movie directed by Rob Zombie, and it was also produced by Oren Peli and Jason Blum, who did work on the Paranormal Activity movies and the Insidious movies. So that actually drew my attention right over there. I mean, I like Rob Zombie's movies. I mean, the only one I hated of his movies was his Halloween 2 movie. That's the only one I hated of his movies. I mean, I just liked this movie because I liked the art direction that this movie took. I liked the tone. It was, I mean, it was pretty, like, over the top at some parts as well. Pretty gross. That's just Rob Zombie, though. And this movie was basically, like, made as, like, a tribute to, like, Stanley Kubrick's work. So it's like, I remember seeing an interview with Rob Zombie saying that movies like Clockwork Orange and The Shining had some, like, inspiration for this movie. Yeah, so I liked the art look for this movie. I liked the visual effects as well, like, as there was, like, no CGI in this movie. So overall, I actually pretty much liked it. I mean, I will admit it was kind of boring, slow at times. So, like, I can understand some people hate this movie because it's pretty boring. But I actually liked it, though. Another one I chose is Hatchet 3. Now, this movie was pretty cool. I saw this movie when this came out on Blu-ray. I wanted to do a review on it, but I didn't get around to it. But maybe I'll do a review on it sometime in the future, as well as the other Hatchet movies. So I just liked how this movie picked up where the second movie left off, much like how the second movie picked up where the first one left off. And I also liked how basically it picks up, like, the next day, and Victor Crowley comes back from the dead, of course. And we have, like, all these cops and these SWAT team all, like, going into the swamp to hunt Victor Crowley. We see them, like, with their machine guns, shotguns, handguns, all of them, like, firing at him with everything they got. Nothing's killing him, though. And, of course, just like all the Hatchet movies, this one definitely had really good gore effects. And this was probably my favorite one out of all the movies, to be honest. So I think this is probably the best one. And I think that's really all I gotta say about this one. Let's move on. Now, you may have seen my review on this one. I did say in my review that I didn't really like this movie, but I didn't hate it either. I will admit, though, since I did that review, this movie has grown on me a little bit. So I mean, there's still, like, some problems I could address with this movie. Excuse me. But, I mean, like, I more liked it than hated it, though. And I thought it was good enough to make this list, and it's I Spit on Your Grave, too. I mean, this was a pretty brutal, over-the-top movie. A rape revenge story, as I called it in my review. At this, girl, of course, who, gets, raped, drugged, basically kept as a sex slave, unlike the other movies where they just leave her for dead. And so then, like, when she gets out, she seeks revenge on the guys who raped her, killing them pretty over the top fashions, just like in the other movies. I mean, this movie basically topped the first movie with being brutal, gory, just all out sick. I mean, so this is like, definitely for me was worth seeing, but of course it's not for everyone, so I wouldn't really recommend it for people who have weak stomachs. So, yeah. So I thought this was pretty good. And another one I chose, I did a review on this as well, and it's Fright Night 2 New Blood. And I remember, like, when I did this review, I remember saying that I was seeing that it wasn't getting that much love from people, seeing, like, that was basically just a remake all over again. But I think the reason why it was a remake all over again was because, like, the other movie, the first Fright Night, was also a remake. It didn't do well at the box office, and also this was made by a different company as well. So, like, the first was made by a partnership of Touchstone and DreamWorks, while this was made by Fox. So they probably like sold the rights to Fox, and Fox was able to do what they wanted with the series. And like, I just liked this movie because I liked I mean, I thought Jamie Murray in this movie was pretty hot, sexy. I mean, come on. If you see her in this movie, you'll agree with me. I also liked all the practical effects, the gore effects in this movie. Even the CGI in this movie was pretty good too for a straight-to-DVD movie. I also did like the fight scene at the end of the movie, basically taking place in a pool of blood. Even though the ending of the fight was, to me, a little anticlimactic, but overall, I actually thought this was a pretty good movie, pretty good Fright Night movie. There's not one Fright Night movie I hated, so I liked all of them, including this one. And another one I chose is VHS 2. Now this one was actually a sequel that's better than the first movie. I mean, this movie had like some pretty good sequences. Like, it's an anthology movie, of course, so it was like, had like, a couple of little short movies all in one. I mean, like, there's ones with aliens, which there was also this one with zombies. I think I really liked the one with zombies because like there was this, because the character had like this camera right on his helmet, and so he becomes a zombie. So you see basically the point of view of this zombie. So that was like, just a pretty interesting look for this movie. I also do like these found footage movies, like since these movies were directed by the directors of Raid, Hobo with a Shotgun, You're Next, The Blair Witch Project. Yeah, so and like, never was this movie boring as well. Not so I actually overall thought this was a better movie than the first VHS. So, and I think that's really all I gotta say about this one, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. Another one I chose, I actually had this in this Blu-ray box set. I mean, I did a review on this movie showing the DVD, but since I got all these movies on Blu-ray, so I might as well show this one on Blu-ray. It's in this box set, and it's the one on the bottom, Curse of Chucky. I chose this one because I actually really liked this movie. I really liked this Chucky movie. And it's what we needed after Seed of Chucky, since that one, of course, I know disappointed a lot of people, even though I still found Seed of Chucky, I still found it okay, to be honest, but I know a lot of people really hated that movie, and so this is something we need, so I was really happy for this movie. I mean, I liked the darkness, the tone, the suspense, like it brought everything from the original movie back. Even though I felt some of the suspense was like unneeded, because like you already know it's Chucky, so come on, like we've seen him kill people in the previous movies already, so we already know it's Chucky, we already know he's alive. And also, like, I just really liked the ending after the credits was basically like, wow, cool. Yeah, so this is definitely worth checking out. Something that's better than like almost all the it's actually probably the best Child's Play sequel. Maybe even the best one in general. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I mean, I really do like the first Child's Play, so this was definitely really good. chose is Insidious Chapter 2. And I just really liked this movie because I liked how it went further into the story of the first movie. Like, it picked up where the first movie ended. I also really liked the atmosphere of this movie, since that's what these movies are about. It's not blood and gore, it's atmosphere. So, I mean, I like atmosphere horror movies. So I liked how this one, like, even though it wasn't as creepy as the first movie, I mean, it was still pretty creepy. I'm not going to say it wasn't creepy at all. I mean, it was still pretty creepy, but it wasn't as creepy as the first movie. Like, I remember when I saw the first movie, I was actually all jittery after I seen this. This one, not too much. It was still creepy overall, though. Excuse me. And also, this was directed by James Wan, who did, like, you know, the Saw movies and the first Insidious, and he also did The Conjuring recently, and I know he's directing Fast and Furious 7, but that movie is, like, on hold now, unfortunately. Hope they get it back up soon. Hope so. Yeah, so, like, overall, this was a pretty good movie, a pretty good sequel to the first movie, and I hope to see an Insidious Chapter 3 in the future. I'm not sure if James Wan is going to be directing Insidious Chapter 3, though, because I remember hearing that he wants to take a break from horror movies. I mean, I hope he does still do work on it. I hope so. And I think that's really all I got to say about this one. So, this is definitely worth checking out. It's a worthy sequel and all. And this one I had a blast watching. I saw this movie on its first day. And I was like, wow, that was awesome! And it's Evil Dead, the remake of Evil Dead. I saw this movie when it came out and just had such a blast with this movie. This movie is definitely one of the best remakes. If not, it could be even actually the best remake. I mean, I liked all the gore effects. All the gore effects in this movie were all done with practical effects, no CGI. I mean, there was maybe 2-3 scenes that had CGI in it. Even when there was CGI, the CGI was amazing. All the effects, all the gore effects, the CGI effects were all amazing. The acting was awesome too. And also, I just liked how it was also trying to be the original too. Like, it wasn't copying the same story from the original movie. It wasn't just like, you know, friends going up to the cabin just for like a little get together. They were going up to the cabin to help their one friend who's trying to recover from her drug problems. Yeah, so it gave more of them a story. Of course, there was no Ash character, but that was actually Bruce Campbell's call. Like, you know, he wanted there to be no Ash character because he didn't want like people just to like, you know, spend time just comparing Ash, the new Ash, to the original Ash. He wants them just to focus on the movie, and that's what we should do on this. Focus on this movie. So this was overall a really good movie. Pretty good directing by Fede Alvarez. I think this may have been like his first movie. I do know he did probably like some shorts. So this was overall like his first feature movie, and he just did an amazing job. This was overall a good addition to the Evil Dead series. A good movie overall. And I hope to see a sequel to this movie. I also know they're doing a sequel to Army of Darkness. Hope to see that too. This is definitely worth checking out. One of my favorite ones. Now this, like I said, you'll know when the best one's coming up. This one is the best horror movie of 2013. Got a drum roll, please? And it's The Conjuring. This was the best horror movie of 2013. This is another movie that was also directed by James Wan, besides Insidious Chapter 2. And to me, this is his best movie. Overall, his best movie, not just his best movie of 2013. It's his overall best movie, because he also did work on Saw, Dead Silence, Insidious, Death Sentence. And so this definitely tops all of those movies. It was also better than Insidious Chapter 2. I just liked the atmosphere of this movie. I liked the suspense. I liked also all the tension of this movie, the build up, all the ghosts in this movie were just all creepy. The music of this movie was just pretty creepy. It just gets you jittery. I still remember some people actually, when I saw this in the theater, were actually just jumping, getting scared. I still remember like one of my coworkers saying, "Now that is scary." Yeah, so also like it had like some pretty good acting from Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, who play Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are actually these real life paranormal investigators. They're real people. They actually investigated the Amityville house, for that matter. I hear they're supposed to do a sequel to this movie. I'm hoping maybe the sequel will be set in the Amityville house. That would be pretty cool, because they make a reference to it at the end of the movie. And like, I also like all the designs of these ghosts as well. Like, they were all pretty creepy. All had like rotted flesh, some blood and whatnot. And a cool thing is that all the ghosts in this movie did not have CGI on them. All of them were like, people in makeup and whatnot. Of course, there was CGI in it, but it was only used when it was needed, just like the Evil Dead movie and the Frankenstein's Army movie. So it was only used when it was needed. So, like, I just liked all the practical effects in this movie as well. I liked all the scares. Overall, it was just, like, the movie that got my attention the most of this year. I mean, like, it had some of the most scares, the tone. I mean, overall, I mean, I didn't really had much complaints about this movie. So, like I said, this is James Wan's best movie overall, and I hope to see like more good movies of him for the future. Good work, James Wan. This is not over yet. I mean, like, of course, those were 13 movies that I got. So, like, this video's not going to end just yet, so... Because I wrote this little list of 2 movies, because, like, these movies aren't out on Blu-ray yet. So, I would just like to add these movies to the list as well. Next one is You're Next. I liked that movie because I liked the action, the gore. I also liked how the killers were wearing like these animal masks. Like, I didn't think those masks were creepy looking until I saw this movie. Now, like, when I saw this, I was like, okay, now you made those masks scary. Just like in The Purge, like, okay, now you made those masks scary just because they were used in these horror movies, used by these killers. I also liked the main girl in this movie. I liked how she basically got to have like some pretty good action towards the end of the movie, like just killing these characters in like some pretty gruesome and very creative fashions, I might add. Like, all the death scenes were pretty creative. The actors were pretty good as well, and one of them was played by Ty West, who made some horror movies I really like. And I think that's all I got. That's all I gotta say about You're Next. And the last one I like to add is Carrie, the remake of Carrie. And I did like a little review on that movie. I mean, I did mention that it was a good remake, but not perfect though, because it was basically just like the same thing from the original movie with some changes here and there. But I thought it should go on the list because it had some good performances by Chloe Grace Moretz, and Julianne Moore was also pretty good, but over the top as well. I also did like the visual effects, like when she was using her telekinesis to move things around. Like, the effects in that were pretty good. It was a better remake than the other remake with Angela Bettis that was made for TV a few years back. Yeah, so it was a worthy remake, not better than the original, but it was overall pretty good, worth seeing for fans of Carrie and fans of Stephen King. And I think that's all I got to say. So I think that about wraps up. I think that about wraps up for this video, and I hope to see some more good horror movies next year in 2014. I mean, I know the next horror movie I'll be seeing is Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. I don't know if I'll be doing a review on that, probably not, but I look forward to seeing it, as well as more horror movies, and just keep your eye out for more of my videos. Alright. See ya.